This episode is sponsored by Stitch Fix and by Manscaped.
So we haven't really checked in on Facebook and its CEO and founder, Mr. Mark Zuckerberg, in 2 weeks. But the Zuck recently made yet another trip over to Capitol Hill to get questioned for several hours by people who really don't like him and also happen to make laws for a living. This time around, the topic at hand was Libra, the online currency Facebook announced back in June, which immediately set off all sorts of alarm bells because at this point, after all we've been through, is this the man you really want to trust with all your money?
It put an immediate target on their back. It was hilarious. Like, you've just been through your trip to DC. Now let's launch a cryptocurrency.
I read a really nice opinion article in Wired by some veteran, like, PR specialist who's been around for decades, just being like, Mark, as soon as the Cambridge Analytica thing happened, you should have just not appeared in public for 18 months, not made any big announcements. Everybody would have forgotten.
No, he has to disrupt the industry.
But you did the exact opposite.
Yeah. Now, just to recap exactly what Libra is or could be if it continues and exists one day.
It's about 50-50 right now.
It's a cryptocurrency, but also not really. It's built on blockchain technology like a cryptocurrency, but its value is backed by a combination of various real-world currencies, so it's a stable coin. And Facebook wants Libra to become the primary means of paying for things worldwide, particularly in places where much of the population don't have bank accounts. So it's a payment method, it's a brand new currency, and it's international. Also, it's basically a bank. But please don't regulate us like a bank. That would be bad. Yeah, you know what? Facebook, we're officially not a bank, even though if this comes true, they kind of are.
What we're describing here, almost exactly to a T, matches up with how most people would define a bank, but it's not a bank. So please, chill out, back off with all those
damn regulations.
Very necessary banking regulations that we all rely on today.
Yeah,
so this is all very ambitious. And that's why lawmakers in several countries whose jobs include at least trying to maintain economic stability are very sketched out by this idea of Facebook doing the job traditionally assigned to central banks. And despite the fact that Facebook wisely decided to seek out partnerships with lots of other less toxic companies to form the Libra Association and run things together, the Libra Association recently lost eBay, MasterCard, Visa, PayPal, Stripe, and Mercado Pago, notably, all of which are financial service companies.
Not a great sign.
Yeah, it's kind of their thing usually.
And so last week, Mark Zuckerberg appeared before the House Financial Services Committee for around 6 hours to try to clear things up about this whole Libra thing. As with every other time that Zuck has gone to Congress, it didn't really go too well for him. Now, aside from having just a horrendous haircut.
Just the worst. It's because he's obsessed with Caesar Augustus, I think it was. The guy's got, I'd love just a peek inside of his very weird mind.
Yeah. Now, you could also argue the opposite here by him going to Congress this time, since Congress is notoriously tech illiterate, and Zuckerberg managed to get through the whole thing without actually directly answering a whole lot of questions, so maybe it was good for him.
Yeah. He's like, look, I'm a sociopath. I have no feelings. Just put me in front of Congress, let them wail on me for a
Run the program
hours.
into my brain, and I'll just repeat everything.
I can take the abuse.
Also, I'm so boring as a human that they will want to get out of there as quickly as possible.
It really, watching this, obviously, I'm not going to watch 6 hours of this shit, but even watching clips, I found myself zoning out anytime he opened his mouth.
I think that's honestly a mental play by him.
Probably. It's he does operate on another level. He is a very smart person.
Yeah, for sure.
But evil smart. So that might be part of it.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's just hit the major bullet points on the topic of Libra. It's not a lot. Zuckerberg claims that if Libra isn't allowed to happen, the damn Chinese are just going to go ahead and do it themselves. And he's not wrong about that, actually. As soon as Libra was announced, China announced a similar initiative. So
yeah, but that's backed by social currency.
When questioned about Libra being backed by a variety of international currencies, Zuckerberg did say he's open to it being majority backed by the US dollar if it really comes down to it. There's a lot of people really concerned about that. You saying our money's not as good as all these other monies? So, okay. Lots of Congress members brought up the fact that Libra has the potential to be used by drug dealers, terrorists, tax evaders, and so on. But Zuckerberg refused to commit to blocking anonymous Libra wallets. It sounds like Facebook's own Calibra wallet will have some pretty strict ID rules, but that's just one wallet out of presumably many more from third parties.
All those people are on CSGO now trading keys anyway.
Yeah, that's the true currency of the criminal underworld.
Yes.
CSGO keys. He also said that worst case scenario, Facebook will pull out of the Libra Association if they do something that Facebook doesn't allow or if regulators force them to.
They're going to pull out of their own association that they set up for themselves?
Well, here's the thing. They make money regardless because their whole reason for doing this is basically integrating it into Facebook's platform.
Oh, and bringing it to countries where people might not have the means or ability to make online purchases.
Yeah, so Facebook in a lot of countries is already basically a walled garden, much like AOL was for Americans in like the early 90s.
Yeah.
And they can make those walls even bigger by incorporating e-commerce into the website. And it doesn't sound like they're taking anything off the top. It would just allow them to charge more for advertising, being that
Libra coin is like crusty dollars.
You want into the Facebook marketplace, you're going to have to pay up.
They're like regular dollars, except fun.
Yeah, these people over in Myanmar, they don't know what eBay is. They don't know what Amazon is. Facebook is their internet.
Now that we've caused a genocide, let's take the rest of the people there and get them some Libra coin.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Facebook's got a whole laundry list of scandals outside of just trying to start a cryptocurrency. And anytime you get Marky Mark up on the stand, he's going to be asked about all sorts of things, not just the topic at hand. So one of the biggest highlights of the hearing had nothing to do with Libra at all, but rather New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez asking Zuckerberg about Facebook's ad policy as it relates to political ads. She asked, "Would I be able to run advertisements on Facebook targeting Republicans in primaries saying that they voted for the Green New Deal? I mean, if you're not fact-checking political advertisements, I'm just trying to understand the bounds here. What's fair game?"
To which the Zuck replied, "Congresswoman, I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head. I think probably. I think lying is bad, and I think if you were to run an ad that had a lie, that would be bad. In a democracy, I believe people should be able to see for themselves what politicians are saying and judge their character for themselves."
Wow, what a non-answer, Mark, you fucking piece of shit.
He barely, he did not give real answers to almost any of the questions he was asked over 6 hours, that's a skill.
Yeah.
He's really good at this.
Yeah, and as we all know, he was trying to get involved in politics, and he would have been a dangerous politician.
He would have not, no one would vote for this man.
Well, no. He has absolutely zero likability.
But he would have been slick.
Yeah, if he got in, he would have been slick.
In another life, I could see him being like a political consultant, a surrogate for a campaign. He'd have that Kellyanne Conway thing where he's just so good at fucking lying and spinning, just effortless.
Yeah, it's great. Now, this is a topic that's been brought up a lot in the past month or so, though, starting with Facebook saying that they're not going to fact-check political ads from the Trump 2020 campaign or any politician. And given how 2016 played out, with Facebook being a hotbed of coordinated disinformation from various parties, this set off alarm bells, with many interpreting this to mean that political campaigns can just flat out lie in Facebook ads, and Facebook only cares about getting paid.
That checks out.
Yeah, it definitely does.
So Senator and presidential candidate Elizabeth Warren decided to test this out with a cheeky little ad where she wrote, "Breaking news, Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook just endorsed Donald Trump for re-election." And it had a little picture of Mark and Donnie shaking hands. The text continued, though. When you click the read more, it said, "You're probably shocked, and you might be thinking, how could this possibly be true? Well, it's not." And then the rest just goes on to say that Facebook has given Trump free rein to lie to voters on their platform. So they were kind of trying to bait Facebook into removing their ad, but Facebook didn't. They stuck to their guns. They're like, still got paid.
Yeah. And this got 11 billion views. Okay, back to the hearing. A few days after, someone tried to test out that line of questioning from AOC about running a political ad targeted at Republicans, falsely claiming in this ad that a Republican candidate had backed the Green New Deal. Political activist Adriel Hampton of the Political Action Committee, the really online left league, started running a Facebook ad for Conservatives for a Green New Deal, claiming that Republican Senator Lindsey Graham backed the Green New Deal using some pretty damn convincing spliced together sound bites. After about a day, Facebook's fact-checkers ended up flagging and removing the video, with the explanation being that the no fact-checking rule only applies to politicians and not to political action committees, or, dare I say, probably anyone else.
Yeah. Wait, so are you just making this up as you go along, Mark?
Yeah, kind of we are. It's called disrupting the industry. And
sometimes I disrupt myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
Yeah. So, therefore, that's very same misleading political ad, while not allowed for a PAC, would presumably be allowed for an individual politician, right? Well, Adriel Hampton, the guy who made that video, is going to test that out because he has now officially submitted paperwork to run for governor of California in 2022, thus making him a politician by Facebook standards.
Sure.
He plans to use his new protected status to just constantly lie about politics on Facebook until they change their fact-checking policy. So it's trolling. And this should be a fun story to follow going forward because he's like, yeah, I'm just going to keep on doing it until they change it.
Hopefully he doesn't have any photos of him smoking a bong and having a threesome, or else this was going to be a very short-lived career.
I don't think he actually wants to be a governor.
I know. he just
but yeah, that's a thing that I don't know if we're going to talk about, but yeah,
the only reason I would even talk about it on Weekly Weird would be to say that out of all of the fake allegations that Jacob Wall and Jack Berkman had against certain politicians,
they really missed one.
There was an actual real scandal. If you want to put it that way, it was an abuse of power for sure.
It's definitely their kind of thing. It's definitely got the Wall Berkman fingerprints all over it, and yet it slipped through those fingers.
He definitely jerked off to it, though.
Oh, for sure.
Finally, some inspiration. Anyways, in the midst of all this, hundreds of Facebook's own employees signed a letter to Mark Zuckerberg earlier this week criticizing this policy. Here's an excerpt. Free speech and paid speech are not the same thing. Misinformation affects us all. Our current policies on fact-checking people in political office or those running for office are a threat to what Facebook stands for. We strongly object to this policy as it stands. It doesn't protect voices, but instead allows politicians to weaponize our platform by targeting people who believe that content posted by political figures is trustworthy.
Elsewhere, they basically say that, hey, Mark, we got a pretty bad rap in the last election for allowing so much disinformation. A lot of us have put in a lot of work trying to make sure that doesn't happen again. But this new policy kind of risks undoing and invalidating all that work that we've done. So maybe don't. Yeah. They also ask that the same fact-checking policy be applied across the board and also suggest making it even more abundantly clear which content is political ads because people are fucking idiots and they often can't tell the difference between them and organic posts. They also suggest disallowing politicians and campaigns from using the advanced targeting tools in their normal ad system and also putting spending caps on individual politicians.
Hey, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Also, they should just delete Facebook from the inside.
Yeah. Boop. Just move it over to the trash can.
Oops. So, yeah, Facebook, however, probably not going to do any of that.
Absolutely not.
No, but it's nice to see that some people working there are at least trying. How long they continue to work there is anyone's guess. Without much stricter election advertising laws like they have in most other countries, Facebook is just going to keep pursuing the only thing that they care about, which is money. So for now, don't use Facebook. Or ever. It's terrible for this and just a mountain of other reasons. And also, Thanksgiving's coming up. I know it's hard to not get in political arguments, but is it really political to tell your parents to not use Facebook because it's a bad platform? Maybe. Yeah. But it's time. Tell your boomer family members to stop poisoning their brains. There is, and I think I've said this before on the show, but there is and we're going to look back on this in a very sad way because Facebook in general and the politics that started in 2015 till now have literally driven two generations that should be spending time with each other because one of them is going to die very soon, has driven them apart. And that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big problem.
And they're all going to die. I mean, everyone's going to die, but they're all going to die potentially a lot sooner than all of us are. And it's just going to be sad to be like, yeah, the last 10 years of my relationship with my parents was not great because we just argued all the time about politics.
Yeah, didn't really talk to my dad those last 10 years. Would have liked to, but he wouldn't shut up about QAnon and drinking his own piss. And it just got old after a while. And, we kind of just stopped inviting him to family events. And, well, now he's dead. And he left all of his money to that guy who says that he's JFK Jr.
Yep.
So
sad.
Anyway, in some news that broke literally as we filmed this, or moments before at least, Twitter has once again used a Facebook controversy as an opportunity to demonstrate that they're not Facebook. In this case, by announcing that they are just going to ban all political ads from their platform. That means campaigns, politicians, PACs, super PACs, etc. They're still going to allow general ads for stuff like voter registration. And the exact details of the policy won't be announced until 2 weeks from now. But it seems like a good policy at first glance.
It's fucking hilarious.
I love what a weird person Jack Dorsey is.
Yeah.
Like, him and Mark Zuckerberg, neither of them are good people. But
I will say
is
Jack Dorsey is cooler looking. He has very specific vibe about him.
He looks like a guy who like lives in a cave. And I think he does part of the year.
His fashion sense is very much David from Schitt's Creek, but not. Mm-hmm. And also, he's just a weird person. But the thing is I love Twitter's new policy of doing exactly the opposite of what Facebook does.
Yeah,
it's hilarious, and it makes me stoked for Twitter. Like, they just look at exactly what's happening and all of the repercussions of that, and they're like, cool, if we do the opposite of that, people will be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I like it. Good job, Jack.
Yeah, it was. You know what? Good job. Maybe that, mescaline trip you took in India or whatever it was, maybe that was worth it.
You know, you can survive off 100 calories a day.
Jack,
I've been doing it for a year now.
He must have like experienced some ego death yesterday or something. Holy shit, I should stop political ads.
The Jack who stands before you is not the Jack who stood before you 24 hours ago, for that Jack has died. And in his place, I stand before you.
We're not going to do politics.
We're not going to do it because Mark Zuckerberg, he's getting fucking shit on right now. And it'd just be funny. It'd be funny if we just did what everyone was asking them to do.
Yeah. I'm going to go take a shower now.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
So get the hell off Facebook. But, if you log off Facebook and actually go outside, you're going to want to look good.
Just like Jack Dorsey.
Yeah. Well, maybe look a little... Look, I don't want to besmirch the reputation of our sponsor. It's Stitch Fix, and they can help you look good when you go outside.
Better than Jack.
Yeah, much better than Jack Dorsey. Personal style is like a fingerprint. Everyone has their own. Whatever your style, the expert stylists at Stitch Fix are ready to help you express yourself. Stitch Fix is an online personal styling service that delivers your favorite clothing brands right to your door. To get started, go to stitchfix.com/newsday, answer some questions about your preferred style, and your personal shopper will ship you a box full of clothes, shoes, and accessories.
It's really cool that you can tell all of your friends about how your personal shopper got you this outfit. Wow, he must be rich.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's no commitment required, and you only pay for what you keep. Shipping, exchanges, and returns are always free. Plus, the $20 styling fee is automatically applied towards anything that you keep from your box. You'll never have to worry about looking good again with Stitch Fix. So get started today at stitchfix.com/newsday and get an extra 25% off when you keep everything in your box. That is stitchfix.com/newsday.
And this episode is sponsored by Manscaped, who are #1 in men's below-the-belt grooming. It's Halloween time, baby.
Like literally tomorrow or today or yesterday, whenever you're watching this.
Yeah, and you don't want to spook someone special with your scary little bush.
Or big bush.
Your big bush.
Yeah.
You might be Chewbacca, Bigfoot, or a hairy old bear, but it's what's under the costume that really matters. We've all tried various methods of taming our undercarriages, but Manscaped makes it nice and simple with their Perfect Package 2.0. Inside the Perfect Package, you'll find their electric trimmer called the Lawnmower 2.0. This waterproof and skin-safe technology will protect you from nicking your pumpkins.
And you're also going to get the Crop Preserver. That's an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. You'll get the Crop Reviver Ball Toner Spray for on-the-go freshness. Keep it in your pocket in your car. Just whenever you need a little freshen up.
Yeah.
You're also going to get their anti-chafing performance boxer briefs that keep your package cool and smelling fresh all day long. It's time to clean up with the Perfect Package 2.0. And right now, you get 20% off plus free shipping if you use our code NEWSDAY, all one word, all caps, at manscaped.com. So head to manscaped.com right now and use our code NEWSDAY, all caps, all one word, and you will get 20% off plus free shipping.
Can't wait for all the Thanksgiving euphemisms.
Yeah. Yeah, make sure you don't nick the turkey gobbler down there.
Yeah, you're going to want to shave down those sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
Smooth off that gourd. Your turkey neck is, whatever.
And Christmas, too, is going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see what they have for us.
Anyway, back into the news. Let's check in on Elon Musk. Remember 3 years ago when Tesla announced their solar roof, which is basically a completely normal-looking roof that's actually solar panels covering the entire top of a house, thus eliminating the eyesore of typical solar panels?
It was a good Musk job.
Well, we kind of forgot about it, as did a lot of other people, but they did in fact release it. Unfortunately, it sounds like actual adoption was quite low, possibly as low as just a few dozen homes. It's difficult to even find real-world examples on the internet of people buy it, but they're out there. And the reason for that is pretty simple. The cost of purchase and installation was too expensive for most people to justify, even with the energy savings factor in it. It would pay for itself after 30 years. A bit long term. Yeah. And on Tesla's end, production and installation was so complex and expensive, they didn't really make any money off of it, and they were never able to ship out that much material anyway.
I mean, if you're able to put it on your house at the head start of a 30-year mortgage, then by the time you retire and pay your house off, baby, you've got a very small amount of probably income coming in if the power company buys your extra energy.
It's something I would very much like to see. I mean, even if it was just normal solar panels, but like newly built homes and apartments.
They should just do it anyway.
Like, I'm kind of surprised the state of California hasn't. I mean, they might have incentives for it, but it feels like they're building shit in my neighborhood all the time. And I'm like, why aren't you putting solar on this?
Just fucking do it.
Yeah.
And now in California, we have daytime at night because of the fires. So it's just constantly running. Nevertheless, it is a good idea in theory, and last week Musk announced the next generation of the Tesla solar roof. He says it's going to cost 40% less than the previous model, and thanks to a simpler design featuring bigger panels, it'll only take 8 hours to install, whereas the earlier version took up to 2 weeks in some cases. Now, for a typical 2,000-foot home, they say it'll run you around $35,000, which ends up being cheaper than if you paid for a normal roof and then put normal solar panels on top of it. Of course, the energy efficiency probably won't be as good as typical solar panels, but that's, it's fine if you're just really into aesthetics.
If you think I'm going to sacrifice my rad aesthetic
for a higher energy efficiency rating,
you are dead wrong.
I do think that this is what people were waiting for, because why would you do... Everyone now knows how quickly technology changes and evolves.
Yeah, you don't want to be an early adopter for
Why would you be first gen on something that like this?
Yeah, I mean,
the proof is right there.
There's reason to be skeptical. Like, apparently when they first announced the solar roof 3 years ago, like, it was just flat out lies. Like, he was just literally spouting bullshit. He's like, see this house here? It's got our new solar roof tiles on it. They were not. It was like literally just a prop. And then like in the next 3 months, he's like, all right, make the thing that I just announced happen. I don't know how you're going to do it.
It's like the opposite of Field of Dreams. If you make them come, we have to build it.
Yes.
And that's kind of like the Neuralink thing that he's talking about too. It's going to do all this shit.
Yeah.
All right, scientists,
his engineers are like, what the fuck are you saying, bro? I have to build this thing.
We can see exactly into Musk's future by doing the Field of Dreams reversal at any point in time.
If they come, you better build it.
We got orders.
Anyway, the timing of the solar roof announcement, it works out great for us here in the Golden State because Northern California and parts of Southern California have been dealing with a whole lot of power outages from our very shitty energy companies trying and failing to not start even more massive wildfires.
They're the Mr. Magoo of energy companies.
Shut them all down, throw them in prison,
Yeah.
Let the public take over.
At least Mr. Magoo doesn't get hit by a giant steel beam when he walks across a construction yard. We do every time.
Yep. So yeah, having solar power and a battery in your home would at least prevent energy blackouts for you. And Musk even announced on Twitter that they're reducing solar prices by $1,000 for people affected by the wildfire outages.
Cool.
I don't know how they're verifying that, but that's nice. Of course, in typical Musk fashion, he's making big predictions about this new model, saying they plan to be installing about 1,000 roofs a month in just a few months from now. So we shall see about that. For now, unless you're already planning on re-roofing your house, or building a brand new house, this probably isn't something you're going to go for. Solar roofs are also an idea that's historically lost money for the many companies that have tried it, but it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Probably a necessary idea. Probably an inevitability, and we genuinely hope it works out.
Yeah. Okay. Before we talk about good Elon, let me just make him into a villain once more. What if, conspiracy hat, not really saying this, Elon Musk is the one setting all the fires so he can get the insurance money to put the solar panels.
He has the flamethrower.
He does have the fucking... Listen, I'm not saying it. I'm just saying that in the movie that I'm making, Elon Musk is Hank Scorpio, and he is setting fires around California in order to get the insurance money from the homeowners to build the solar roofs as test case to roll it out on a massive scale. That's all I'm saying, and I'm also not saying it.
Big if true.
But it really makes you think.
He's just out there with his flamethrower. I gave you all the clues, Mr. Police.
Yeah. Now to good Elon Musk, okay? We give him credit where credit is due. Elon also got in the news this week by donating $1 million to plant 1 million trees because he burned them all down. No, I'm kidding. It's part of an initiative by notoriously generous YouTuber Mr. Beast, who teamed up with the Arbor Day Foundation to try to raise money to plant 20 million trees. And it's a really nice thing that everyone involved is doing. It's very nice.
Very positive.
Yes.
They're getting kids out. It's like, come meet your favorite YouTuber, Mr. Beast, and fist bump him. But also, plant a fucking tree. It's great. I like.
Do they still have the big owl mascot?
I don't know.
Well, they should, and everyone should get to meet that owl.
Okay.
Now, there's a lot of conflicting scientific opinion on exactly how effective tree planting is in the grand scheme of fighting climate change. 70% of Earth's oxygen is generated by ocean plant life, and around 1 trillion trees would need to be planted by 2050. We said trillion, not million or billion. Trillion trees would need to be planted by 2050 to make much of an impact. But again, this cannot hurt. It is a very good thing.
More trees is better than fewer trees.
Yes. That ocean plant life that we speak of, not doing so great recently and continues to get worse.
You can't just plant more kelp. Yeah. It's a little more complicated than that.
But yes, again, very, very good thing. Very good thing. It is, however, funny that Elon threw $1 million at a YouTuber's conservation campaign less than 2 weeks after telling Vernon Unsworth lawyers that his finances are illiquid. AKA, I don't have a lot of cash to throw around right now. But who is going to be like, well, take the money back from the trees.
Pull the trees out of the earth.
Yeah.
Send the trees back.
Yeah. No, it's again, very good thing.
Yeah.
The tree planting, it's great. Nice. I did like that he specified that this would be a worldwide initiative from the Arbor Day Foundation. As far as I have heard, Arbor Day Foundation is majority focuses on North America, but
we're not very deforested here, at least compared to a lot of other countries where they've just like strip mined entire forests.
Yeah,
we're
somewhat sustainable.
Somewhat
sustainable. But yes, the international community definitely needs help in that front. So good job, Mr. Beast. Good job, Elon Musk, and everyone else involved.
Yeah. But meanwhile, speaking of climate change. Here's some fucking terrible news.
Oh, God. How is Mr. Beast going to solve this one?
I don't know. He can't do it alone. So some new research about rising sea levels makes the claim that a lot more places are potentially really, really screwed by the year 2050 if things continue as they are. Because basically, it turns out a lot of elevation data that climate researchers have been relying on is based on measurements that were taken by the Space Shuttle Endeavour back in 2000, which measured the tallest points in areas and did not account for stuff like tall buildings and tall trees. So in other words, a lot of places are much lower than originally thought. Not by, too much in a lot of cases, but enough to mean the difference between being under or above water in 30 years.
Why does anyone live in Florida? I ask my parents that all the time. They need to leave.
The taxes are low. I can drive without a seatbelt.
And I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
I can sit in a bar with a gun on my side, and no one's going to tell me to stop.
What are you going to do?
And also, I can smoke in that bar.
OJ moved here.
It's freedom, baby. Anyways, if these new estimates are accurate, it means that Bangkok, Mumbai, Shanghai, Alexandria, most of southern Vietnam, and lots of other places, if Florida is New Orleans, they are at risk. They're in for a very, very bad time in not a long time. With 30 years to go, there's the potential for taking proactive measures with infrastructure in a lot of these places to at least reduce the problem. But as it stands right now, around 110 million more people than originally thought will be underwater in 2050 compared to earlier predictions of 28 million people. And this works for my parents because they live like 10 or 15 miles inland. Beachfront property, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. If I stay in my same place for another 100 years, I've got a really good spot.
The Earth, because if you live on the coast, very rich, the Earth was like, eat the rich. And it did.
The ocean is a comrade. So,
Mother Earth is a commie.
So the future is terrifying. We might as well just keep ignoring it and instead, focus on the here and now. Samsung's doing more foldy phones. Isn't that cool?
I love it.
The first one opened like this, and the new one opens like this. Wow. And look, a new streaming service from the fine folks at Warner Media. Rick and Morty and South Park on one platform. Sign us up. And hey, look at these new AirPods. Wow, cool. So if you ask me, looks like the Earth is doing just fine.
Yeah. I'm going to talk a bit more about Warner Media on News Dump, so get ready for that. That's it for today's episode. Make sure you watch yesterday's episode where we talk about the fact that Netflix is adding a speed watch option, potentially, and the comments on that video seem to indicate that people are way into this.
We're the weird ones.
Yes, we are. Although we both use it for normal things like YouTube videos and stuff, so
Yeah.
it's a possibility we'd enjoy it as well. But Judd Apatow, he's the one that is wrong. And also in that one, we cover more Fallout drama as well as some other video game news. So check that out and an episode of Weekly Weird News that was aired over the weekend.
Yeah.
And we'll see you very soon.
And patrons and members, podcast if you hadn't listened to already.
Podcast is on the Patreon
We reviewed
page.
The Outer Worlds.
Yep.
All right.
There
Check
you
it
go.
out. Check it all out.
Bye.
Bye-bye.